Hello, I'm Scott Bogey here with Richard Mayol ahead of his fight against is it Ismail Israilov? I think that's how you pronounce it. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing great, sir. Doing great. Just finished doing some mids, some Saturday work, and basically all the hard work is done. I just gotta make weight, show up, and do work.
Exactly. Now the fight is only a week out. It's February the 21st. How do you feel like he's going to come in? Like, what do you think his game plan is going to be for you? Keep it on the feet, a mixture of both, or get it to the ground?
I believe he's gonna be a mixture of both. I saw he did some bare knuckle, so he seems to be confident in
Yeah,
striking too. But I'm sure he's gonna try to grapple me eventually. We're more than ready for that. I'm a black belt in jiu-jitsu. I I love my wrestling. I have really good judo with our sensei Danny Valverde, and we're more than ready to stand up and throw hands. So it's gonna be a
exactly.
really fun fight for the fans.
And you could have asked for an even better debut on your Fury FC campaign last time. You went in there, got the finish after 27 seconds. That must have been great.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. That camp we worked really hard, so it was awesome to get a finish so fast, and we're more than happy. And thank God we came out really healthy, no damage. I'm ready for the next one, and thank God Ismail, excuse me, said yes, and now we're ready to do it again.
And were you having any trouble with finding opponents? Because obviously you are 4-0, I'm sorry, 5-0 just now. All of your victories have came by a finish. So people might just want to try to avoid you. Were you finding that as being the case, or was it fine?
100%. I had like a span of like a year and a half that I couldn't fight, and it was a really frustrating time for me. I had a lot of pullouts. People would say yes and no. Or people would just say no. I had more than 20, maybe even 30, and I'm not exaggerating. Opponents pull out or end up denying the fight. So yeah, it was really hard, and I'm glad that now I'm with Fury. They're finding me fight. Thank you to my management, Iridium, and Jason House for helping me out, and now Ismail for taking the fight. I imagine he's going through the same thing. So perfect for both of us.
And I'm not slating the other promotions you did fight on, because obviously with Titans FC, they did have Bilal Muhammad in that. But was the reason for coming to Fury FC was because they do have a more direct path to the UFC. You do have over 10 people fighting in the Contender Series last year. You have those people getting the call up straight away. You can see that more path directly to the UFC with Fury.
100%, 100%. That was the thought process, and we really like Fury. My first fight, it was amazing. They took care of me. The show was great. The venue was great, and yeah, we had a great time. And also, Jason told me that with Fury, we're gonna get there. And so far, we've been doing amazing. So we're gonna do it again, and I believe they're gonna help me make it to the UFC faster than in any other direction, any
And
other company.
And do you feel like after you get the stoppage in this fight, the next stop for you is either a title shot with Fury or the UFC? Do you feel like that's the next path?
Um, what do I want? Obviously, I want the UFC contender or contract. But to get that, I have to look great. I have to go out
Yeah.
there, have a really good fight, and have a really good finish, and it'll be the odds will be way higher. So that's where my head is at.
And I know you're not gonna overlook Israel Emil, but how do you feel like a fight between you and the champion, Sam Kilmar? How do you feel like that would play out?
Sam came by to train for his camp for 2 weeks, and really cool guy. He had a great camp. We trained really well, and if we ended up fighting, it'll be really interesting. I know his striking is a different style. Not many people strike like he does, and his grappling is nasty. So it will be a really nice fight. It will be a really nice fight in case that happens. But as I said before, my eyes are in the UFC. I really am looking forward to doing my job, getting a highlight knockout, getting a highlight finish, getting a crazy performance, and going into where I want to be,
And am I
which is
cor
the UFC.
And am I correct in saying that currently you're training out of MMA Masters? Would that be correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Right here.
And how has that been for your development?
Honestly, I can only say good things. I'm a really lucky guy. My first gym was in Masters. I've been here my whole career, my whole amateur, all my fights, and they took me in since the first day I started training with the pros, and I believe that's why my development was so quick. Even though it's been 6 years and
Yeah.
something since I started training here, I believe my development and my skill set everywhere has been extremely fast compared to a lot of people because of that, because of the high level of the team and the high level of the training partners and how good the coaches are. And yeah, I'm extremely blessed to have this team.
And I think I'm correct in saying this. UFC 314 is at Miami. How big of that? How big will that be for the city to bring in more eyes onto your MMA scene?
I believe that's Ilya against Volkanovski again, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what it's been targeted for.
Hell yeah, that'll be awesome. The more they come to Miami, the better for us. The higher the chances are. You get me? The closer they are, the higher the chances are for us. So
Yeah,
I'm excited for them coming back. I'm excited for them doing more shows in Miami, right here. And I really hope something happens. And Richard just got another W, 6-0, another finish, and I'm gonna stay ready. So I'm actually extremely excited about it. People in Miami have always been fans, but the sport and the company of the UFC has grown so much that everybody, for example, I walk around with a little bit of cauliflower that I got, which I kind of hide. And everybody's like, oh, you do UFC, you do fighting, you do all that. So it's going to bring even more exposure to our sport and to us fighters and to us fighters who fight out of Miami. So it's all
yeah.
positive.
Exactly. And with your division in the UFC, you are starting to see that change of the guard. You had the guys like Usman, Covington, who was Masvidal, who was dominating that division. However, nowadays they are moving back down, and the likes of Shafkat, you have Ian Gary, Jack Della, who are coming up in the ranks and starting to take over. Are you see? Am I correct in saying you're seeing that change of the guard happen?
Yeah, 100%. I've been paying attention to all the new generation, how they call it, and it's really exciting. They're bringing exciting fights. They're everything's changing completely, and I plan on being part of it.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's like five, six, seven guys. Ian Gary, MVP, a bunch. Marlon, the Ecuadorian guy, Shafka, Belal now. The new generation is really good. Is high level MMA. They're really good everywhere, and I believe I belong amongst them. And I plan on being fight on fighting them soon.
And what did you make of Bial's fighting style? 'Cause I know Bial can be criticized for being a decision-heavy guy. In his top fight against Leon Edwards, even in his tweet on how the fight's going to break down, he still didn't even get a finish. He got a decision victory that way. What did you make of his fighting style?
It's not even his fighting style. People just hate on him because he's not good at talking. He's like he finds a way to be unlikable. Even though from what I've heard, people that have met him, I have friends who have actually met him in person. He's the coolest guy. He's a really nice guy, but he's not like the most marketable or the best with fans. He's a little cringe. You get me? But he does fight
Yeah,
great. He against Leon, he dominated him, took him down, beat up the champ, knocked out Sean Brady. I believe he just gets a lot of unnecessary hate. Obviously, he could be a little more exciting sometimes. Is he gets decisions and stuff, but that's what happens at the highest of the levels. Everybody is the best, so it's hard to
yeah.
make those exciting fights because at the end of the day, the more risks you take, the easier it is to get a finish. But at the same time, the easier it is to mess it up. So everybody has to fight smart at that level, and I believe he just gets a lot of hate because of his personality more than anything else.
And also, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you get a first round finish or unanimous decision victory. It's still the win at the end of the day. Your skill got that win on that record.
100%. I love finishes, as you can tell from my record. But a win's a win. A win's a win, and number one is a win. I believe number one is a win and close is the finish, but number one is a win. It's all about winning. If you don't win, nobody cares.
And is there anyone currently in that UFC that either you're wanting to have a fight with in the future or you're wanting to make your debut against?
Not names in particular, but all like you were talking about the new generation.
Yeah.
I've been really keeping a close eye on them, and I believe my skill set could match up well against all of them. So I'll be excited to fight Jack Della Maddalena, Marlon, I forget his last name, Ian Gary, Shafkat, all those guys. I would just really be excited to prove the level that we have here in my gym and the level that I got myself as a fighter against those guys.
And do you feel like the great thing about our sport is you can take these fights without worrying about too much on the consequence? Like with boxing, for example, the big guys fight each other, you lose, you take a hit. Whereas with MMA, the Ian Gary doesn't seem to have been affected too badly with his fight against Shavkat because he still put in that good performance.
Yeah, I believe what happened there with Volkanovski is you gotta respect the game, and he didn't respect the game being so great as he is. I believe he's one of the goats. But if you don't respect the game doesn't give a fuck about who you are. Sorry, I don't know if I could curse.
No, yeah, it's fine.
The game doesn't really care about who you are. He took that fight against Islam short notice, coming out of a surgery, out of shape, and then right after, back to back, he got knocked out, and then right after he fought Ilya. So yeah, I just believe that was the situation with him. Was that the question? I don't know if I went on the right.
I think it was that the game isn't really affected by a defeat. So even though you do lose, your stock doesn't go down.
Yeah, yeah, but it also depends how you lose.
Oh yeah,
Like like we were saying, Ian lost, but it was a close decision. They kind of look boring, so it's like, oh, boo, but no big deal. But when you lose in a big, flashy manner, it does affect you way more.
and
But at the end of the day, MMA is like that. People lose way more. It's not like boxing that everybody's 40 and 0. Because the
yeah,
whole point of MMA and the beauty of it is that good matchups are made. Matchups that make sense. You're not fighting bumps all the time. Even less in the UFC, they always make good matchups. Even as people are climbing the rankings. Obviously, there's favoritism sometimes. Sometimes some guys get better stylistic matchups for them. But overall, um, all fights are good fights in MMA.
and then also you do have champions like Islam, who some people are bringing that title reign down a bit just due to the competition he's fought. However, you do also have to realize, if you are a fan, that his opponents he is taking them on short notice. You do have like Renato, who just he fought. He was meant to fight Armin, pulled out on the day. Islam didn't care. He went, give me whoever you want, and I'll fight him. It just still shows the heart that the champion does have, that he is willing to risk the title with 1 day's notice.
Yeah, I believe that's what you gotta have. And that's why he's the goal right now. There's nobody better than Islam. Not only is he beating everybody, he's finishing everybody, and he's
Yeah,
making it look easy, no matter who it is. So he's a savage. That's what every MMA fighter should aim to be like. Do exactly what he's doing, and he's doing it everywhere. He's knocking people out. He's submitting them. He's controlling them. He's taking them down. And he was in a dogfight with Dustin, even though he was dominating. I believe it was a tougher fight, and he still
yeah.
pulled through and got the finish at the end too, which shows how big of a heart he has. He could have just laid him pray, stay on top, win the fight, make it boring, but no, he showed that he's a dominant champion and did his thing.
And also during the fight, you will have some idea on how the fight is going. So I know you haven't got into the fight into the later rounds. I know you did it on the first fight that you had. But is there any part of you that you think if you go into that final fight knowing that you have got 2 rounds secure, is there any part of you that's like, let's just try to minimize the risk factor, or are you still going out there playing your full game?
No, I'll always fight my fight. I train my ass off to have cardio for days. I don't get tired. I don't get tired. It will have to be something really weird for me to get tired. And if I'm winning 2 rounds, I'm going to win the third, and I'm waiting for the right opportunity to get the finish. I'm not gonna force it. I never believe in that Because when you force it, that's when you open yourself up.
Yeah.
But there's always openings, and when those openings happen, that's when you gotta capitalize. And that's what I've done in all my fights, and that's what I plan on doing on this fight. I plan on winning everything. I plan on dominating, and once the chance is there to finish the fight, I will. But in any case, I'm ready for everything. I'm ready for if it has to be 3 rounds, it'll be 3 rounds. But I don't plan on letting it go all
And
the way
then
to the end.
obviously there has been some discussion in the fan community because of obviously the controversial decisions about maybe implementing open scoring. I know here in Europe they do have that in one of the divisions. What do you think about open scoring?
I like it. I like it because it gives the fighter a chance of knowing where he's at. I feel like a lot of people. I feel like it will affect in a positive way more than a negative way because at the end of the day, we're fighting. You have to be a little crazy to fight, and which means if you're in the fight, most probably you want to win. You're willing to win. So if a fighter knows that he's down 2 rounds,
Yeah.
for sure, he's not gonna coast. Most of the times, maybe there's people who quit and stuff, but that's not the norm. I believe that he's gonna come out hard on that third round and try to get the finish. So I am for it. I like it. I like that idea. I don't think people are gonna. Obviously, whoever's winning will try to coast a little bit, but it gives the other guy the chance to be like, oh damn, I believe I have won that round, but the judges don't see it that way. Let's go and get it.
And this is going to be your first fight of the year. What are you looking to have in 2025? Are you looking to try and stay a bit active and have at least three fights, or what are you looking for?
I always aim 3 to 4 fights. It's never happened, but I always aim to stay active. I always aim to obviously ideally have at least minimum 3 months in between camps so my body recovers from the crazy training that we do in camp, from the weight cut and from the fight. But I train year round. I train every day of the year basically. And I plan on fighting 3 to 4 times. That's always my goal.
And how did you come into MMA? Like, what's your story?
Yeah. I when I was younger, let's say, I did not want to do that. I said that's for stupid, crazy people. Why would you ever want to get punched in the face, get your nose broken? You have to be a little retarded to want to go into a game. So I started wrestling. Wrestling was my first contact sport. I've always been a really competitive kid. I have an older brother. He's 6 years older than me, and I will always hang out with him and all his friends. So I always had to prove myself. I always had to prove that I'm capable. I could hang out with you guys. I could play with you guys. If you guys are playing soccer, I have to be faster. I have to be a tryhard. So I guess that's in me, already being really competitive. And then when I found wrestling, that feeling of one-on-one, proving that you're willing to go further than the other guy, and it's all on you. I fell in love with it, and you cannot blame nobody. You cannot. It's all on you. The work you put in, whatever you do, the decisions you make, it's all on you, and it sucks. But at the same time, the more it sucks, the better it feels after. The more pride you could take in winning, in doing your thing. And eventually, I became a fan of MMA, watching when Conor McGregor was coming up, although all the great GSP, all those good people, and I started liking the sport, liking the sport, liking the sport. After high school, wrestling for 3 years, I didn't have anything to do. I was like, what do I do in my life now? I just started lifting for a year. I got big and strong, but that wasn't it. That wasn't feeling the whole. I feel empty still. And I was like, you know what? I really, really enjoy watching MMA, and it's the closest thing that I find to wrestling. So let me try it out. My goal wasn't to be, I don't know, a fighter, let's say, but I wanted to try it out, and I tried it out. I fell in love with it, and going back to my competitive spirit, once I liked it, I was like, I'm gonna be the best at it. And ever since, I've been grinding. I've
And
been grinding really hard to get to this point.
and is that competitive spirit in you? Is that showcased in the gym, even with your teammates? You're wanting to go that extra mile. You can do 10 push-ups, I can do 11. You can run for 20
Yeah,
minutes, I can do 21.
yeah, I could be one of those crazy guys that's willing to outwork everybody, which sometimes has been bad for me because these people like I don't know cancer stuff like that. You end up getting sick. You end up hurting yourself more than anything else. But at the same time, there's no doubt in my mind that I'm getting out. There's no doubt in my mind that I'm putting in the work.
Yeah.
Nobody's outworking me, so that gives me a lot of confidence. I don't just do the necessary. I always try to go the extra mile. And now I've learned a little bit how to pull back just enough to not overdo it in the sense of killing my body. But once it's dead and I could barely walk, you can go take a nap, bro. Chill. You don't have to go do sprints again. You don't have to go train 3 more hours. But yeah, that it does really reflect in my training. All my training partners know that I'm a little annoying, but I'm like that. We take care of each other, but we're gonna compete, and I'm gonna try to beat you every time with all the love.
Exactly. And obviously you have quite a few of your teammates currently in training camp just now. Does that just help the camp just progress further? Because you do have a variety of training partners. You are going all full speed to be ready for fight night. Does it just lift up the morale as well in the camp?
100%, 100%. I usually fight by myself. I've never fought in amateur, but for a while I haven't really fought on the same card or on the same dates as nobody. And having multiple fighters getting ready for fights, it brings up the energy in the training room. It brings up, yeah, that energy of putting the work, one to win, one to grind, and I love it. I love it. Christy is fighting the same day in LFA. We have Sam fighting too in the
Yep.
same card as me, and we have a couple guys. We have, I believe, in April and March, multiple people fighting too. So everybody's getting ready for fight currently in the gym.
Well, I know you're going to do fantastic come fight day, get another stoppage, and just big things are up next. Is there anything you're wanting to add or anyone you're wanting to shout out?
Yes, sir. I want to give a huge shout out to, first of all, to my girlfriend, even though it's different topic, but today is our fifth anniversary, and I'm here putting in the work. She's my number one supporter, and yeah, shout out to her. Shout out to my coaches, Daniel Barberio, Cesar Canedo, Coach Joe, my wrestling coach, Coach Jonathan, my conditioning coach. Shout out to all my training partners who really they put in their body to get these victories, to get this success. Whenever I win, I believe like is we're all winning. And lastly, I would like to obviously shout out to all the people who support me, who give me love, all my friends, and I would like to give a huge shout out to all my sponsors. And let me check them out. Thank God I have more sponsors this time. I'm still getting all of them, but huge shout out to my team. Huge shout out to Southwest Medical Group, Coast to Coast Restoration, RBI Lending, Chamamix Jats, Divino Ceviches, Limamira X, Vice Investments, White Lion, Dynamic Wellness, and DF Frank. They're really helping me out this camp, and I feel a lot of support. So shout out to everybody. We're gonna get another W and another finish, and great things are coming.
Thank you for coming on. I can't wait to see you get that victory.